like to welcome Maggie Langlang today on behalf of Forward Cooper Angus. She's here to show us how to darn woolen jumpers and socks. We're keen to be able to repair old woolens and invest them with a new bit of life so that they don't end up thrown into the general waste and ultimately end up in landfill. Once in landfill, as they start to decompose, they'll produce methane, which is a very potent greenhouse gas, 30 times stronger than carbon dioxide. So by saving our woolens, we're actually, and repairing them, we're actually going to mitigate the impact of climate change. So Maggie's going to introduce us to the tools that we need to do the darning, and then she'll give us a little demo as well. Thank you very much, Maggie. Okay.
Right. For darning, you need some fairly lightweight thread. This is tapestry yarn. You can use crewel wools, which are lighter weight, and you can get in a greater range of colours if you want to match it to whatever you're darning. So those are the threads. You need a darning dolly or a mushroom. This was copied off my mother's, which is quite old. And you need some scissors that have got good points on them. And that is basically all you need for darning tools. Oh, and a needle, of course, which I know I've got one tucked in here somewhere. A blunt, large-eyed needle, tapestry needle, will do the job brilliantly. This is a leg warmer sock that's had a hole worn in it, as you can see. This is what you have to do with your darning dolly or mushroom. You have to put it in and centre it over the hole and pull it not tight, but just so that it's firmly over it. With your scissors, you want to go around and just trim up any stray threads that might be around the edge. This one isn't too bad, but sometimes when you've got woolly sweaters, you will find that you've got lots and lots of threads that are sort of in between, or maybe part worn if it's a woven fabric. So it just tidies it up. Thread needle with a yarn, it's quite easy, and I know most of you probably know this, but I'm going to show you anyway. Fold it in half, pinch it so you've got a tiny loop, and just push it through the eye, and some of the threads will go through, and then just carefully tease it through, and there you have your needle threaded. The next stage is to go round the hole with a series of small running stitches. First thing I'm going to show you is just how to attach your yarn. And you don't need a knot, you can just simply do a loop like that, and that will be sufficient to attach. Right, the next stage, when you've worked all the way round, it's better to start with the smallest area as opposed to the largest area for the next stage. You just simply go, again going through the fibres, but sort of where the stitches are. You go backwards and forwards. want to keep the threads fairly close together. The running stitch round the outside, the purpose of that is to stabilise the hole for this stage, because what we will, this then gives us something with which to weave the next bit. Excuse me. So we continue until the whole of the hole is filled, if that makes sense. For the next stage I'm actually going to fasten this thread off and put a new piece of thread on my needle. So I'll just do that. Right, so again, joining the thread, just pull and that's sufficient. Now what we do is we catch the thread at this end and then we weave in and out, and then go through to catch again at that end, so you can see that we've got one woven thread. This is quite a thick thread for if you were doing a finer material. So again you catch the fabric at the end, and now you weave the opposite. So the ones you went over before, you go under this time. Don't pull it too tight, and then catch underneath again.
Okay.
Right, and then you just continue catching the end, and then just again where you've gone under on the previous stitch, you go over and then under, and it is just a basic straight weave. It's nothing complicated. Don't pull too tight, and just move that thread over a bit. I turn it round, but some people can actually just do it backwards and forwards, but I find this more comfortable. And then we can probably get another one in there. You want to make it as dense as you possibly can. So that one's a bit difficult to find now because they're quite close to the edge. There we are. You can see on the needle that they're the opposites of what they were before. And that, I think, is more or less that.
That is beautifully done, Maggie, thank you.
We just, again, just a couple of little stitches should secure that sufficiently. Snip. of darn.
And I love that, and I love the contrasting colour as well. You're almost making a feature out of your darn, which is lovely.
Yeah, I mean, if I was doing this perhaps for something that was a bit more precious, I might have used a lighter weight yarn, the crawl wool, because then this is a little chunky for this weight of fabric. But why not show it off? It's a beautiful piece of handwork. Show it off.
Lovely. Thank you so much.